Emergency a day after Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed ordered military operations there in an escalation of a long-running feud. The move is part of an attempt by Abiy, winner of last year's Nobel Peace Prize, to assert federal control over a region whose ruling party has openly defied him for months and brands him as illegitimate. Now, the lower house of parliament unanimously approved the state of emergency in a session Thursday morning. State-affiliated Fana Broadcasting Corporate said. Now, according to the country's constitution, under a state of emergency, the government has all necessary power to protect the country's peace and sovereignty and can suspend some political and democratic rights. Elsewhere, gang violence in Douala, Cameroon's main commercial city, is on the rise both night and day, with roving bands touting machetes, clubs, knives, and even screwdrivers to terrorize and steal. Local community watch committees have been set up to deal with this new form of crime. A non-profit group is also offering shelter and educational opportunities to about 40 street children to help them reintegrate them into society. Prince, a victim of the attack, says it was just a surprise, a shock. They came out in a big group, and that Sunday everyone was trying to escape, pack up their goods and flee. It was a bit like that. Well, I had to pack up my things. I started to run away and hurt my foot. We did not see it coming.
C'est un lieu d'apprentissage. Au fur et à mesure qu'il se forme les connaissances, aussi pouvoir exercer son travail.
Now, French Foreign Minister was in Egypt Sunday, where he sought to ease tensions with the Arab world after the furor surrounding the republication of cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. Le Drian met with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry, and Ahmed al-Taib, the Grand Imam of Al-Zahar, Egypt's highest Muslim authority, speaking of his country's deep respect for Islam, while at the same time acknowledging differences. Le Drian's highly anticipated meeting with Taib ahead of Al-Azhar, considered the foremost religious institution for Sunni Muslims, tackled French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo's decision in September to reprint the cartoons. Last month, Taib denounced remarks by French President Emmanuel Macron about Islamist separatism as racist and spreading hate speech. Well, Malawi's Foreign Minister Azohawa Mkaka announces during a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that his country is set to open an embassy in Jerusalem in 2021, becoming the first African country to establish a diplomatic mission in the Holy City in more than 4 decades.
This is a great day because of your decision to move your embassy to Jerusalem, which is our eternal capital from the times of King David. So we welcome you as a friend. We welcome Malawi as a friend. We've always had excellent relations, and they're going to be even better. And we look forward to strengthening the ties between Israel and Malawi. Agriculture, health, cybersecurity, every area that I think lends itself to such cooperation.
Israel remains a true partner, and we would like to maintain that strong link between Malawi and Israel, and hence my visit and the decision of my president, Dr. Chakwera, to establish a mission here.
Well, to something that puts us in focus of what we're talking about this morning is social media, as social as it was intended to be, or are people extending it into zones that it is not meant to be? Do some people actually think their social media family, as they call it, are their friends or real family? These are the emotional sentiments shared by comedian Churchill at the late Othuol Othuol's funeral. Take a look.
Including your fans' family.
Don't
wake up every morning, you're telling them what you're eating, what you're dressing. Stop it! You have a life. Your family is your mother, your children, your parents. Stop frustrating them. Stop frustrating them. Guys, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Don't wake up saying my family, my family. Those are fans. The moment you stop being funny, they stop being your family. Leave it. Leave it. Leave the bloggers. They earn money through your stories. Grow yourself, grow a brand, money will follow you. And when you become a brand, be disciplined enough to grow it. I mean, I still wake up every morning at 4 a.m. to go work. I should have quit.
Absolutely.
Just like Jalango here. It's not easy. It's not easy, guys. I don't want to come to another function like this. I want to see millionaires in you.
Amen.
And you're going to become millionaires.
Amen.
Because what you have, many people don't have it. The world is looking for content. That's why Netflix is big. You'll be signed by Netflix. You'll be signed by other channels. Guys, just hold on there. Just focus on your career. Focus on your trade. Make your family happy.
Amen.
May God bless you. May God bless all the artists here. I give you my blessings.
Amen.
I love what Jalango you're doing.
Amen.
Every day, that's a whole creative direction online. I like what Terence is doing. I like what Jesse is doing. I like what all these other guys, Flaco and everyone else on social media. You're doing an amazing job. Go out there, become a brand, make your parents happy, and most importantly, make God happy by raising other talents just like you've been given a chance. May God bless you so much.
Very emotional speech there by Churchill, even as he spoke to other celebrities in as far as your engagement when it comes to social media is concerned. Now, we'll get into the nitty-gritties of that, but let me first introduce those that are helping me on this conversation this morning, even as we understand this facade that is social media. To start us off in studio, we have Sharon Derrito, a.k.a. Shaz. She's a comedian and entertainer. We are also joined virtually by Ann Kamau, aka Shikowa Soksi. She's a PCOS ambassador and content creator. We're also joined by Abel Mutua, who is a creative director. And let me just say that hat he wears has many feathers on it. He'll be telling us more about that. And we have Kevin Waire, aka Waire the Love Child. You know him. He's a veteran, been at it for a while, and we'll be talking more about his journey. And of course, somebody who is going to help us keep the sanity in this conversation. And we're talking about Susan Gitao, who is a counseling psychologist and an international certified addiction professional. Thank you all for joining us on this conversation. Now, I'll start off with my guest in studio. And I am fat, I am fluffy. One of Shaz's most famous quotes. She's a comedian, a survivor of the Westgate attack, and a bubbly personality all round who is not shy of sharing her plus-size body on social media. Here's a snippet of her talking about the silent body shaming that happens online and offline.
So let's go to this. There's misconceptions, right?
Yes.
So here you are.
Yeah.
You're a big girl.
Yes.
And you went and climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? Which many much smaller people can't do, haven't done. And that's what I mean. There was a glass ceiling that was set by, typical societal glass ceilings.
Yeah.
And you broke that.
Yes.
And have you ever realized how big an impact that was, or has it not hit you?
To be honest,
there's some plus size girl watching your Instagram and thinking, she climb a mountain, I can do it too, you know.
So I realized it after. I remember when I went to see my parents and they were so happy and so proud of me. And then when I posted, a lot of girls and a lot of people started getting to my DMs and telling me that. Because, so here's the thing, I genuinely believe that you can do and you can be everything that you want to be. And that's a lot of what I talk about on the page. I'm like, what do you want to be? Now, you want to be a model? Go be a model. You want to be, just do the thing that's in your heart to do.
Shaz in her element, and we have her in studio. Shaz, I saw you smiling and saying, yep, that is me for you. And at this point, and I'll put this question to everybody else, what is the value of social media for you as Shaz?
I think for me, I feel like I was late in coming to social media because I kind of took my time. I'm a late adopter. So for me, it had to make sense first before I got into it. But once I did, I found that there was value in sharing unpopular opinions or beliefs. For me, there's been great value in, because I find motivation from being in other people's pages and I get inspired by what they do. For me, creating content that does the same for other people has been, for me, joy, an absolute joy for me. So I think that would probably be the biggest thing, you know, getting a message out there that I feel isn't being shouted loud enough. And so I try to do it with the people who are on my platform.
Okay, and your famous quote makes many cringe, but you smile every time you do it and say it. I am fat and I am fluffy. Explain.
I got fluffy from when I was in Jamaica, because when you walk around the place, they go, girl, you're fluffy. And I'm like, well, like a pillow, like a mattress. And like, yes, girl, you're fluffy. So I just thought that was really funny and I kept it. But I also feel like sometimes we run away from just describing ourselves as we are, right? And especially when you're fat, and because there's a lot of people who want to sugarcoat it, they want to say you're, you know, bigger bone. But Gladys, this is not a stomach bone, okay? It's just, I'm just fat, and that's just a descriptor of who I am, and then we move on. And hopefully people can see more beyond that. And I feel sometimes we are so scared to you know, just present ourselves as we are, right? We always have to look perfect. I can't take this photo until I lose some weight. I can't do this until I'm like, no, I'm fat and I'm also doing all these other things. And that's why I put it front and center. Like, in case anyone thinks that I have a problem with it, let me just disabuse you of that. And then now we can have a normal conversation, you know, so that's why I go with it.
There you have it. And we'll talk more about her experience on social media. Well, let me introduce the other lady with us. She's a wife, a mother, and a very vocal polycystic ovarian syndrome ambassador, that is normally abbreviated as PCOS. Anne Kamau, better known to you as Shikowa Soxy, has been very intentional on keeping it real and making use of social media for good.
The hospital did a pelvic scan, and they saw that my ovaries have cysts. So on the scan, they'll see small things on the ovaries. And the doctor was like, unfortunately, you have PCOS. I was 27 years old then, dating Soxy at that time. So he told me, if you don't have a baby, you're doomed. Yes, you're doomed. You're 27.
I know that line very well.
Clock is ticking. You have PCOS. You need to rush.
And you're just freshly dating?
We were 2 years into dating. So you're not sure whether this guy is headed marriage way or not. You're not sure. So I remember meeting Soxy and telling him I have this condition, which has a very long name, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and he's just looking at me.
That's why we're sticking to PCOS.
Yeah. Are you dying? You know, what's going on? And then I'm like, yeah, and he's told me it causes infertility, so I better get children now. So Soxy was like,
talk about pressure, wow.
Soxy's like, I'm not ready to have children now. I'm not even ready to marry you now. So how are you telling me to have children? So it brought a lot of friction.
I can imagine.
And we broke up.
And that is Shikowa Soxy being very candid about her journey with PCOS. And she's also come out to show another side of her life, being very authentic as she does so. So Shiko, I'll pose the same question to you. What is the value of social media for you?
Good morning. So the value of social media to me is reaching out, empowering women, especially on women's health. That's how I started being on social media. Actually, just like Shaz, I'm very late into coming into social media. It's just 2 years now that I've been very consistent on social media. at first I used to think it's for showing off, for showing how you live, for showing your car, your house. But I had to get my line and stick to it. So my line is basically talking about PCOS, family, and women's health. Generally, that's what I talk about.
Okay, and when you say you took a while before you joined social media, yes, you had an idea that this is what it's about, but what else kept you away from it?
I think the criticism that comes with being on social media as well. When you put yourself out there, it's normal that people will have their own perceptions of you, and they will not hide from telling you how it is. It's not really bad, but if you don't have a tough skin, it can really get to you. So I remember when we got married, I told Soxy, please keep me off your celebrity hood, because I can't handle the pressure that it comes with. And you remember the song by Saizate and Willie Paul saying, Soxy alimpata wake akamficha. It's because I never wanted to be anywhere where people used to know me. People had never put a face to Soxy's wife's face.
I hear you, and we'll talk more about that journey in a moment. Now to another panelist this morning. He's a creative director and a great storyteller who was recently on record talking about the facade that is social media. He recently opened his YouTube channel as a bet, or was it a dare? Well, he'll tell us more about it. But hey, here's Mkurugenzi.
Nika zinaniambia kwamba kuna mnyama ambaye anaitwa octopus. Octopus akona the ability to taste using its tentacles. Unaonaga hizo vitu zake hizo? Inaweza taste nayo. Hey, humans, binadamu tungepatiwa hiyo uwezo. Mungeti. Ukikuwa unasikia tu hapo mtu anakuambia mimi pombe, mimi mambo ya pombe niliwacha kitambo. Sitambui pombe. Jua hiyo story unaweza ni sanitize na hiyo konyagi. Tafadhali. Utapata mtu ameshika hivi mti ya miraa toki hapo. Unamuuliza, bro, ni nini mbona utoke hapa? Bro, buda niko handas. Handas. Ya iwezi? Wallahi nimeriasi hiyo joke wiki 3. Haya, nani wakurugenzi anzeni kipindi.
Oh, you can check him out on his channel, a great storyteller, Abel Mutuais. Karibu sana Mkurugenzi. And the question to you, like everybody else, what's the value of social media for you?
First of all, Glado, sijapenda. You have everyone else dropping nuggets. Mimi, munaeka ile naongea nonsense. Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Hi, and Lea, what's the value of social media for you?
Glado, I like to refer to myself as a culture shaping icon. That's what I think I am. So for me, social media is just a tool or a platform to help me do that. Because I tell guys, if whatever you're putting out there does not inspire, does not inform or educate, or does not entertain, then why are you even doing it in the first place, man? So I use it to get to those people who need to be informed, entertained, or inspired. That's now social media for me.
And there are people who are like, aya, kumbe yu ongea kizungu. Yes, he does speak English. But then again,
oh yes.
Abel, for you have been in the limelight for a while, and you were thrust out there when you were pretty young, even when social media wasn't what it was today. Was it easy for you to jump onto it, or you also had reservations?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty old school. So when this whole social media vibe came, I was a bit slow to jump onto it. But I guess part of the reason was the fact that when I started acting and whatnot, I was very young. Then I took a very long hiatus, extremely long. I think I was out for like a decade. I was out for 9.5 years. So when you think you have nothing to offer, you don't really see the need for social media. Because okay, so it's here. What am I telling you guys? I'm not doing anything. Maybe I'm behind the scenes, and so I was very slow. It was until beginning of this year, 2020, that I decided to go back, and pew. Things just happened.
And the rest is history, but we'll talk more about that in a moment. Now to the other person who's joining us on this conversation. He has been in the music industry for a while, and he's still making hit after hit. Here's a quick preview of some of the many hits by Waire, the live child over time.
Is it me or your ex-boyfriend? Make a choice, pretty girl, make a choice. Your answer tell me what be a choice. Make a choice, pretty girl, make a choice. Is it me or your ex-boyfriend? Make a choice, pretty girl, make a choice. Your answer tell me what be a choice. Make a choice, pretty girl, make a choice. Adija nisubiri iwe wako, nikupe mahaba yangu yote, tuwe milele, mimi na wewe. Adija nisubiri iwe wako, nikupe mahaba yangu yote, tuwe milele, mimi na wewe. She came straight to me, tell me love child that I can't say to. She said that, she told me bear with me, but we can't carry on without you. She said that, mina yeah, mina yeah, mina yeah, mina yeah. She tell me nothing could I break our love, never going nowhere. Mina yeah. Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Yeah. Kingston girl, won't you come take a walk with me? Nikupeleke hadi Kenya, come back home. Nikupeleke hadi Kenya, come back home.
Waire, the love child, you've been at it for a while and have been entertaining us, but for some reason, your life has always been mysterious. Tell us, what is the value of social media for you?
Well, personally, I'm a very private person, actually. But one thing as an artist, you do need to be able to adjust and change with the times. For me, I just use it as an additive and as a marketing tool, extra marketing tool. But like Abel said, I'm also from the old school, and for us back then, for you to make it in the industry, one, the content has to be good. Two, you really have to be aggressive when it comes to networking, in terms of making a personal rapport with people in the industry. For instance, getting to know the DJs on a personal level, TV producers, and anyone who's a good link to get your music out there. So if you ask me, I think that's not happening a lot nowadays. People are really depending a lot on digital and social media to get the music out, which is not a bad thing. But I think it's getting artists to have a complex, because some of them feel if I don't get a certain number of likes or views in a week or a day, maybe I'm a failed artist, which is not the case. And I really connect with what Churchill was saying, that your life does not depend on this social media. The fact that you don't have X amount of followers doesn't mean you're a failed artist. It doesn't at all. You can actually work with the small audience that you command and survive on that.
Okay, there you have it from the veteran. He's clearly kept his head above water, and he'll tell us more about how he's gone about that. But of course, some of the challenges he faced along the way. Now, social media is behind the need to have that perfect picture, from filters designed to make you look much better, creating the illusion of perfect beauty that many are in pursuit of, to the extent of losing their lives through dangerous cosmetic surgeries Take a look.
The doctor said, I'll give you 3 days, Sharice, but you need to accept this is happening. Like, you've lost your nipple and you could lose your boob. I nearly lost my life over social media.
For 23-year-old Sharice,
listen to this.
Beauty is not just in the eye of the beholder, it is a currency, now increasingly set by algorithms and apps.
On Instagram, the way you look is fundamental. These apps give you this, I guess, the power to be able to change the way you look.
The look that I want to go for, I've edited it, but I wanted to have that look done so I didn't have to do that.
Today, a career in micro-celebrity has become viable for the generation trying to escape job precarity. But what is the impact of trying to be Instagram perfect in the pursuit of internet's fame?
I want the Kurt, the hourglass figure, the Kardashian figure. I want the big bottom. I want the boobs. If I had that, it's clothing brands, it's gym brands that want to collab with you. It's a financial pathway.
But as more British surgeons refuse to carry out some of the riskier cosmetic procedures that have become popular via social media, foreign companies are offering low-cost operations on Instagram. But are they overselling the reward and filtering the risk?
This industry has grown phenomenally in the last few years. So a lot of these content creators are spending a lot of time and money improving their content or improving their appearance because they're trying to get a consistent audience that means they then can monetize their audience.
This is the home city of the brands powering the influencer dream, where Sharice is trying to achieve hers. She has had multiple procedures since she was 18, including the world's most fatal procedure, the popular Brazilian butt lift known as a BBL, and apps have played a big part.
So I went to the girl that does my filler and I said to her, I want it so my face is like the filter so I don't have to use the filter.
Have you ever edited your pictures?
I have done in the past, yeah.
And what have you made, how have you edited yourself in pictures?
I've made my waist smaller and my bum bigger. So I had an uplifting implant in the UK. Last year I had my nose done. In between then I've had like filler in my lips, my cheeks, my chin. I said it to my parents. They said, why are you doing all this surgery? And I said, I'm investing in my future. And they couldn't understand why, but I generally feel like once you start building up your platform on social media, it's other opportunities.
Several weeks ago, Sharice flew out to Turkey for more cosmetic surgery. But after already having lipo this year, Sharice did not have enough fat for a further round to enhance her BBL. Instead, the surgeon abroad offered her a breast op and bum implants. This is the company Sharice signed up with, Arupa Med, one of the many pop-up cosmetic companies on Instagram who offer micro-influencers like Sharice a discount if they promote the company on social media. However, for Sharice, things did not go as planned.
I kept saying to the nurses that I didn't feel right. They said it was normal and they checked my bloods and said that my blood levels was dangerously low. So I got moved to intensive care. I ended up having to have my implants taken out of my bum because they'd actually put boob implants in my bum. My body started to reject them. The doctor was quite concerned when I got back to England. Like, it's that quick what's happening that tomorrow I could wake up and it could be half of the boob could be black and fall off. And when I was seen the next day, they diagnosed it with necrosis. I've got no sensation in my baby. Even if I did want another baby in the future, I wouldn't be able to breastfeed. On day 8 of the diagnosis, she took the plaster off and my nipple came off of it.
Sharice wants you to see the consequences. But if you're squeamish, look away now. This is the cost of the new incentives of the social media age targeted at the groups most impressionable, young adults and teenagers.
Do you think that you're still going to be kind of striving for so-called perfection?
Just going about how it looks.
Right there, the harsh reality that social media is to many people, to a point of almost losing their lives. Let's bring in the counseling psychologist, Susan Gitao, just watching that and the importance of acknowledging that the impact of social media is like any other addiction in life. Talk about that.
Thank you, Gladys, for having me today. Listening to that just lately, I'm realizing if we bring it back home, the kind of clients you're meeting who are addicted to social media are really younger, like 13-year-olds, 14, 15-year-olds. They're the ones who are showing those signs of like substance use. They are so obsessed with their phone or the laptop that in one case last year, the young man did not leave the house and he was only 15. He couldn't even go to the toilet because he was on his social media. He did not want to miss anything out. So there's this hormone. You don't want to miss anything whatsoever. So we are saying social media is a behavioral addiction, whereby this person who is addicted, all their time, effort is concentrated on logging in. And they want to log in whereby they are losing their sleep, they are not eating well, they are not socializing with people normally. So a lot of people are developing anxiety disorders, depression, and including others are becoming suicidal. Because what people give you back when you give them back on social media is not what you want. They are living in this facade, a fake life. So you're seeing Susan there in this place, that place, living in this house, and it's not true. So yeah, people are yearning to be like what it is they are seeing on social media. And the young people are so impressible. They are so impressed that they will go to any length to live like they are seeing others living. And as we have learned, especially from the other young people, like the way Waire is saying, I know nothing about Waire. I don't know about his family. I don't know nothing about him because he's not really putting his life there. I've liked the other young lady who is educating us, Sophie's wife. She's educating women on issues that they have never experienced before. So we are saying this social media, it has its good side, and then it has the other side, which is so bad that people have committed suicide because of being bullied, cyberbullying. People have changed how they look because they want to look like a certain person. Again, there's a group of people who already have underlying mental health issues, and they are carried away seriously by the media, and they want to live that life that they're seeing there, and they have no way of controlling that. So we are saying social media is an addiction by itself.
Okay, and we'll explore that more and more even as we dig deeper into this conversation. I'll come back to you, Shaz. Just watching that, I could see you literally squirming, you know, could really, it's unbelievable as to what extent people can get to just impress. Clearly, it is a maker or a breaker.
Yeah.
For you, what are the challenges you've had to face? Because I'm sure it's not always been easy.
For sure, it hasn't. And also deciding to put here's the thing that I feel with social media, we curate what we want people to see. And making that decision on what we want people to see and not see is something that you have to decide every time you post something. But then also, when I see a story like that one that we were just watching, I feel like, oh, this is why I do what I do, because I feel like we also need to populate, or at least I feel a mandate for me is to populate social media with other images that are not necessarily whatever perfection is at the time, because you know that will always change, right? At one time, light and skinny and tall and all of that will be the cool thing, and then after that you need to have the Kardashian body, and then after that you need to have, you know, whatever it is. And so just deciding that actually the package that I come in is very much in vogue right now, and putting that out there is kind of like it's the reminding myself, no, I am valid, I'm worthy of also being on social media. And that's making that call on the regular. I'd probably say is the one thing that I realize I have to actively do every time I make a post on social media. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm sure you've stepped on a few toes along the way, because there are people who believe what you stand for should not be something we even put on social media.
Yes, but who decides? Who decides? And also at what point? So at what point am I the right person for it? You know, I do talk from the perspective of a fat girl. I've been fat all my life, you know, but I also, a lot of the things that people attach to that idea of fat are things that I do not relate with at all. And I feel like, no, I need to also put out, I need to show people that we have greater lives and that have more breadth and width to them. And so when I find that I get some sort of resistance, I like to engage people in conversation. You'd be surprised, actually, Gladys. I probably get more affirmation than I do the opposite, simply because I feel there's a lot of people who also realize that it's a struggle as well. And the thing about so here's the thing, I'm a fat girl, right? As you are talking to me, you can see that I'm a fat girl, right? It's not something that is hidden. And I don't even see it as a struggle, to be quite honest, because I go, okay, I'm fat, I'm going to do this thing also. But very many people are struggling with many things, right? And if we could all wear it, if you could see it the way you can see that I'm a fat girl, if you could see on someone, this one's a alcoholic, this one's a wife beater, this one, if it was out there as physically as my body size is, and you could see it within the first instance, I think you might have a bit more compassion before you throw in your opinion on what is okay, what is not okay, who should be seen, who should not be seen. So I welcome anyone who may not agree with me, but then I want to go deeper into why don't you think I need to be
and that's a good one.
Social media?
Yeah, that's a good one. Hang on to that thought. Let me bring in Shiko. Shiko, you've been living with PCOS all your life, and it comes with body changes. One day is always different from the next. And in itself, this has come out strong on social media. You were shy getting onto social media when you did. At some point, were you reminded why you never got in there in the first place?
Most of the times I am reminded why I never got on to social media. Because at times you post a photo. Okay, with PCOS, we tend to get a lot of bloating just because of the hormones going overboard. So at times I'll post a photo and my tummy will be all out there. And someone will go like, congratulations on your third born. And you're thinking, okay, I'm not looking for a third born. I'm not pregnant. But someone has already thrown it on the comments. I think social media is, as I said, you need a tough skin. Because once you put yourself out there, it's very easy for you to get the people bringing in their views and their thoughts, which is normal. The only problem is people are not very kind with their comments and thoughts. Some are out to just make you feel bad. With PCOS, we tend to get a lot of acne. So if I put a photo of me in acne, I'm sure I'll get very nasty comments down there. So I think it's just a matter of being kind when you're commenting and knowing people are carrying heavier loads in their lives than what you're seeing on their faces.
But Shiko, let's be real here. There are times you put up a picture of you in makeup and you've gotten all these wow comments. And then there are those times you put up a picture without makeup and you've gotten those kind of comments you're talking about. Have you at some point been, tempted to probably do more makeup posts than without?
It's a thin line. It's a thin line. This is social media. Yes, the likes make you, we are all human. So the likes will make you feel appreciated, affirmed. But I think I've learned also to be myself. I've learned to know, okay, there are makeup days and there are no makeup days. And even if the no makeup days bring the comments, that doesn't make who Shiko Wasoksi is. Shiko Wasoksi is a whole totally different whole person. So I think I've learned to brush off, enjoy the likes when I put the makeup, but also to brush off, those likes are not me. As in putting on makeup and people liking it, that's not necessarily who they are liking. They're just liking the well put together face that's on that photo.
And does it give you pressure, like now when you're going about your daily life and you have to meet people face to face?
Pardon? I didn't get that one.
Does it give you now pressure when you go out there and you're meeting people face to face?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't give me, like if I go without makeup and people are thinking, no, I've never been there. I think also a matter of loving and knowing yourself. Because if you don't love and know yourself, these small things will really sway you away. So I think it's just loving and knowing yourself. Even if I have a people today, doesn't mean the people will be there tomorrow.
I hear you. Now, it sounds like the ladies struggle more with the social media presence, how you should look, or what you should be wearing. Let's hear from the guys. Abel, do you feel the pressure of living a certain life due to social media? Abel, please unmute your mic.
Sorry about that.
Uh-huh.
Never. I don't think they judge us by the same yardstick.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So for me, it's actually on the contrary. I tend to feel like this past couple of months, I've been able to gather that much of a following because I told people exactly who I was. I showed them my beginnings. I showed them all the processes in my life until where I am right now. So that worked for me as a plus. I don't know if it would work for ladies, because for ladies I think it's different. We were doing a show last year called My Empress, and My Empress was very female centric, and the conversations that came as a result of the show were just so. Ladies do not watch a show because the content is dope or anything. They just want to see what is Gladys Gachanja wearing today. As in, the pressure begins from day one.
Oh, yeah.
And I found that really strange. So when you see them acting the way they do on social media and going to all those lengths to try and fit, it's the society that has created that. Yeah. You want to show people who you exactly are, but they don't want to see that. They want to see, hey, will Gladys rewind her jeans today? As in, it's just, it's strange. It's strange. And I think it's tough for ladies more than it is for us guys.
But for a guy, because they say mwanaume effort. So guys are posing with their newest car, their newest house. Here you are doing your hustle. Haujafika hapo. You never really get that pressure for, hey, my friends, what am I doing with my life?
Okay, there's a thin line between pressure and motivation. I get motivated when I see people with the coolest whips and whatnot. I get motivated, but I'm not pressured because everybody has their own journey. What took you 10 years might take 15 or 20 years from me. But ni sawa, tutafika to a destination at some point. So your journey is not necessarily my journey, and that's what many of us do not understand. And I totally agree with you. There are men out here who are succumbing to that kind of pressure. That's why afadhali waende waoshe pesa, wakuwe uwezi, all those kind of shoddy deals. Yeah, but for me, first of all, I usually tell guys, before uanze kuangalia mambo ya fame, ask yourself one question. What's your rise to fame? Okay, unataka followers. Followers wakikuja, what are they seeing? That hiyo ndo unafaa kuwa unafanyia kazi. That's the most important thing. What's your forte yako ni gani? You understand? Yeah. Then all these other side shows will come later. Before Akina Kanye West became the billionaires and nini, they were very good producers and hip hop stars.
Yeah.
Before Jay-Z became what he became, he was a hip hop artist. Akuanza tu hapo na picha za Lamborghinis. No. So find forte yako kwanza, then all these other side shows will come.
And Waire, this has been what you've done for so many years. Fine, you've kept your personal life out of it, but your journey with your music has also evolved with the times, from a time when there was no social media to now social media being the key driver to this industry. How do you ensure that you don't get sucked up into all of it?
Well, I think, you see, when it comes to social media, what you put out there for the public is what they would want to see from you in reality. So you have a personal decision to make as an artist and just as a regular person, whether you can maintain the kind of lifestyle that you're portraying on your social media. That's why people are getting so stressed that they can't maintain the kind of flashy life that they're showing out there on social media. And that pressure really gets to a lot of people. So you need to make a personal decision first and try and see, is this what I want people to demand of me? Can I maintain this kind of lifestyle? On my end, I have a very private life. I spend my whole life in front of cameras and on stage. You know what I mean? The one thing that I have to myself is my private life when I go back home. That's why I really cherish it, and I'd rather not expose it, because what do I have to myself? Yeah. So I really value that.
Okay, those in your position, definitely with all these endorsements that come with the space you're at, look at how many followers do I have today, because it probably will translate to the next endorsement. I looked at your number. You're still under 100,000. Does that bother you? Has that stopped anything coming your way?
Not at all. First of all, I jumped on social media late, but the truth of the matter is, a diehard fan who has been there through my career will not wait for my name to trend somewhere to come and see me. You know what I mean? If they hear that there's a Waire concert somewhere, they'll come to see Waire, and not the fact that I have a hot song right now at the moment. Same thing. If a diehard fan of Juakali or Nameless hear them performing somewhere, they're going to see Juakali and Nameless. They're not coming to see you because you did a stunt in the morning, which is trending. You know what I mean? When it comes to art, you start working on building your brand, and it gets to a point where your brand feeds you.
I hear you, Waire, and I'd like to hear from Susan. There's something that Abel has said, that there's a very thin line between motivation and pressure. How do you ensure that you do not, or you toe that line actually, Susan?
It depends on individuals. There are those who are motivated and they know that I'm looking for that inspiration that is being given out there. The others who will go on the other side where they feel I have to fit in. So it will depend on your personality and where you are with your mental health. So that matters a lot. I like what Waire is saying. You need to really hide your life simply because of other many things out there. But our children, like the younger generation than Waire, they are the ones who are having the addictive disorders as far as social media is concerned. They are the ones who are believing everything they see. They are not understanding this is fake. They feel and believe this is the truth, and therefore they are so pressured to live to those standards. So they will show off others' houses, somebody else's phone, somebody else's car. They'll do anything to get money to reach there. So you find that the younger generation are actually coming up with that social media addiction where you have to treat them like the way you treat somebody with substance use disorder. It lights up the same circuit in the brain that when you see those many tweets and people are liking them and people share, so the dopamine is released and you start thinking like you're addicted to it and you can't do without it. And that's why you're finding kids are getting obsessed. They don't want to do away without phones. They can't do away without laptops. And internet is becoming like food now. You need to have, if somebody, the young people go anywhere, the first thing they ask, what's the Wi-Fi? Where is the Wi-Fi? What's the password? What's the password? So they don't even communicate normally the way they were communicating. So as they are going on, because they are younger and their brains are not very well developed, they get very easily addicted to social media.
And we'll definitely talk about more of that effect after we come back from this break. But I'm told you're talking to us, even as we asked you on that question of the day, what is the worst experience you've had on social media? How did you deal with it? Can we have some on? Mish Baib says, I posted a picture of myself on Facebook and a guy whom I did not even know took the picture and uploaded as his profile photo, and the people who are commenting thinking that I am his woman. Wow. Roman Kinyanjui says, sending fair. Well, there's a whole story under that. Brian Craig says, was catfished. You can imagine the feeling. It's like expecting pizza delivery only to find no toppings and a slice missing. We hear you, Brian. Langat says, being rejected by my crush, nearly uninstall WhatsApp. Wow, yeah. Rejection is such a huge thing on social media. Danny Gorner says, my Facebook account was hacked and my friends started getting pornographic materials from my end. I was worried because most of them are people I respect very much, but managed to recover it before the clergy received those materials. Danny, wow, we hear you. Pole sana. Jamba Kimani says, sipatangi likes, still the number of followers iko chini kama game ya Arsenal jana, but followings ni crowd. Bado sijaweza kudeal nayo. Well, those are your comments. Would like to hear more about your experiences. And remember, we are looking at the facade of social media because what you see on social media does not necessarily mean it is what is real to these people, and this is not what they're living as the truth. We'll be back.
We want you to die for this story. Not die, we take you to a mortuary.
For over a month or more, we were a team of 3 doing massage parlor story. It was pleasing, but...
What is a story? Are you writing a book? What are you doing?
When devolution was introduced in the country, people are being bribed to kill stories.
Does journalism pay?
Is it one of those careers that you embroiled in the bigger name shallow pocket scenario?
Usilipe kitu ndo upate loan. Stawi is a product by KCB, Cooperative, NCBA and DTB banks and is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. Stawi, the lending app that's enabling MSMEs grow their businesses.
Acha nikae kwenye mpini, hafi njaa.
Na kila mmoja ana riziki yake.
Mimi vile na hustle hivi, hii ndio jasho langu.
Kila Jumanne katika NTV jioni utapata makala maalum ya jasho langu, kuangazia raha na karaha, heri na shari za watu katika kazi na vibarua mbalimbali.
Mimi Max Riala na kuunda glass ndilo jasho langu.
Na hii ndio jasho langu.
Naitwa The African Dogman na hii ndio haso yangu. Nami ni Daniel Mule na hili ndilo jasho langu.
Huyo jamaa unaangalia hapo unamdespise, atiana form. Hey, shida. Mungu halali, kuna day utapatana na yeye ameomoka mbaya. Gari ni ile nono na life inamwendea fiti. Na wewe umechapa. Mako. Do hivi, jisort na umorio. Mjenge life. Usije ukaregret mazee.
To get Jisort na Morio by Vuma, dial *811 *930#. Skiza na Nation.
I am in Western Kenya, where the government is working hard to restore lost love between farmers and this crop, cotton, a key income earner back in the days, but not anymore.
Part of the fun in buying makeup is getting to try it on in store before you purchase it. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has made that impossible.
Fishing is the main economic activity for people in this part of Whiteman. Other than locals, fishermen from as far as Ghana and Benin have also set up a base here.
What a relief! Thank you, Gold Crown.
If regular milk makes you feel uncomfortable, try Gold Crown lactose-free milk. Milk that loves you.
Every spoonful of Nutri comes loaded with the necessary vitamins, protein and minerals for you and your family to become healthier and stronger. Pick up a pack today from your nearest store. Nutri. Every spoonful counts.
Thank you for staying with your world. My name is Gladys Gachanja. Today we're taking a look at the facade of social media. In studio with me still with Shaza Nderito. She is a comedian entertainer, and Kamau, aka Shikoa Soksi, PCOS ambassador and content creator. Virtually Abel Mutua, creative director and content creator. Kevin Waire, aka Waire the Love Child, who is a musician, and Susan Gitao, who is a counseling psychologist and an international certified addiction professional. Thank you guys for being so candid on this conversation. And Shaz, we were speaking earlier on the break that there's something that seems to be feeding off social media, the degradation of the moral fabric of society. There's peer pressure for this is the cool thing to do, everybody else takes it up. Now there's what social media puts out there, and slowly people are becoming desensitized to what you would think is good and virtuous. Talk about that.
Well, I feel I sort of straddle both worlds because I'm definitely also old school. You know, social media is a thing that we didn't have when we were growing up, right? We grew up with it, so to speak, you know, and putting your life out there in such a public way is something that we've sort of learned to do. I feel like with my younger members of my family and that, they've grown up with it all along. They've grown up watching people, you know, have breakfast up until when they go to bed, you know. And so sort of figuring out how much is too much and where to place what information where. But I think I feel like at the end of the day, yes, we talk about moral degradation and what's happening to society, but I feel like we remove ourselves from it in a way as far as taking responsibility for what we need to do on a one-on-one basis with our families and those that we love and those that we care about. You know, I think the more effort that we put in those spaces, in our real personal spaces, the less importance we will give to what's happening on social media. So in as much as we want to maybe point a finger at what maybe celebrities are doing and that sort of thing, I feel like, well, you know, what are you doing as far as the people that you live with your family members, with your kids and all of that? You know, let's focus what's happening on that front first before we point fingers at what anyone else is doing and, you know, what they are doing or not doing, you know, for society. And I feel like we underestimate the amount of influence and power that we have over sort of like the younger ones in our lives, because that's who we're talking about. You know, it's not so much, I would say maybe over 35s, not so much. Yes, it's there, but not in such a powerful way. It's the ones under that, you know, and I feel like there's a sort of absolving ourselves of that responsibility of what we need to do. I'm like, no, it's on you. It's on you as well as the adult in that space. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, and Shiko, even as you go about using your social media spaces to educate, inform, are you consciously aware that there is that young, vulnerable mind looking up to you? And does that influence the kind of content you put up?
Yes, I'm very sorry. I'm very aware that there are the young people who are looking up to me. And I try to be as authentic as possible. I usually have a problem with, for example, a couple shows how they're so in love, but they won't show us how they fought last night and how they handled that, because there are always two sides to the coin. But anyway, this is media. It's like taking a photo. There's always a behind the scenes. We always clean up, sit well, take the photo, then share it out. But people never quite see the behind the scenes, the cleaning up that you had to do, the throwing away of the papers that were on the floor that you had to do. So I try to be as authentic as possible by bringing up topics that will strike conversations, that people will talk about it, and I'll also give my view on what I think. Because I can't bring out everything about me on social media, because I'm not that kind of person. So I'll try and strike it with conversations and try and guide them. If it's guiding the young people, just try and guide them on which is the rightish path to go.
And you also have not been shy putting your own children on social media. Yet there are some who are like, delay them as much as you can away from this limelight. How come? What informed that decision?
So from our journey, it's just informed from our journey. Where we had reached, we never knew whether we'll ever have children. So these children are our miracles, our people who we never thought we'd have. So we don't put them out as a show-off, but just to say, look at what God has done for us. And if you look at us, we don't push numbers. You see, I'm not pushing numbers for Eliana and Ethan. I'm just putting them there. They don't have 1 million followers. I'm just putting them out there for that lady who's trying for a child, and that child is not coming through, just to know it happened for me, it could happen for you. So that's how Soxy and I decided to put the kids on social media.
Okay, now Abel, for you, you have put out your life where you started from, wakati ulikuwa umeparara kiasi, sahi wewe ni mkurugenzi, and we celebrate you for that. Question is, are you intentional about living authentically and not giving this facade that all is always well?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because I've seen the kind of lies that are being spewed out here. People committing suicide because of Instagram posts. Hawajui, these people hired cars and went to the airport and took photos and went back home. As in, it's just ridiculous, the nonsense that's going on out here. And the worst bit is somebody actually believes that. Ati mazee, the fact that mimi sijapata Range Rover, sijaenda sijui safari wapi, then I am not fit to live. Anachukua kamba anajianika. As in, it's ridiculous. So I'm very, very, very deliberate on the content that I share. Me, I'm very big on the process, because somehow there's been a preconceived notion out here, especially amongst these young guys, that success can be instant. Microwave success, which is a lie. Yo, Glado, I kid you not, hii ukurugenzi unaisikia hapa sahi. This is something I started cultivating like 15 years ago. 15 years ago for me to be here now. But people out here don't show that. Wanataka tu uone Range Rovers, nini, but they don't tell you the story. Tuambie tu story. Tuambie, okay, me, I didn't follow the hard work thing. Nikaanza kusafisha pesa na kuuza madawa, ndio kwa maana niko na Range Rover. Tuambie hivyo, because we are losing kids, man. We're losing kids. And they only need to be told, these are your options. These are your options. Work hard, it might take a bit of time. Sometimes, maybe not. There are people who are just lucky naturally. Or, this is the other way. It might take a shorter time, lakini we jua, ni either jela ama upigwe risasi na polisi. So you choose. Unataka kwenda njia gani? Let's not just flaunt big things out here, and we're not telling these young guys the process. Tunawaharibu maze. And I think the way Daktari said, we're not developing the same. The threshold mimi naweza shikilia, it's not the same at 19-year-old sahi anaweza. Sisi we were hardcore maze. These 19-year-olds are very easily influenced. Unaona? So let's not poteza these kids. Let's tell them the way it is. Even the Okuko, this thing is not easy as it seems. Put in the work. Eventually uta succeed.
Okay, and for you, Waire, where is the role of social media in as far as mentorship is concerned? And I say this because you've been at this for a while. You have been very credible throughout this process. Of course, ups and downs along the way. But how do you ensure to put out the message to those that are up and coming that, man, I didn't wake up and become Waire the love child. I had to put in the work.
You have followers for a reason. The reason somebody clicks the follow button is because they've seen something that you do that impacts on them. Now you have that responsibility as the artist or the person with the public eye to you're the one who decides what impact you're going to leave on whoever's following you. You know, you have a moral responsibility. Now, you could either use it positively or negatively. I would rather use it positively, knowing that I impacted positively on somebody else's life. There was once I was on stage and we were having a performance at the KICC, and I sort of drifted off. I just got into a zone and asked myself, why are these 5,000 people throwing their hands up in the air when I tell them to? Why are they singing the words to my song back to back? It's because I have something to offer. You know what I mean? From that day onwards, my mind, I had a mind shift. And I was like, you know what? Whatever I say is actually quite powerful, to some people, and it's cast on stone to some people. So I wouldn't like to have it on my conscience that I've impacted somebody negatively, and they got to do something that I would regret if I found out that they did something that was out of this world. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a personal decision when it comes to artists to decide what they want to be known for, what trend that they're going to start. Are you going to be proud of it when you look at your legacy a few years after? Do you want to be known that you're the one who started this trend that left so many people in a certain state that you're not very proud of as well?
And I'd like to hear from Susan, something where he's saying the legacy you leave behind, but then again, there is a flip side to that. What Abel was saying, what somebody is watching and how you came about it. If I do not know the story, I'll hang on to what it is that you give me. Now, as a consumer of social media, what should you be wary of in the things you consume?
As a consumer, what you should be worried about most is the influence that what you're seeing is into your life. So if you find now you're not able to sleep because you saw wireless car, you're not able to sleep, you can't concentrate on anything else, you need to get such a car, there's a problem. If you find that what you're consuming is influencing how you behave, how you interact with other people, how you work out your issues, is so into following what the social media is telling you, then you already have a problem. And we are saying, for you to know that you have an addiction, there are things you will see. If you wake up within the first 2 minutes in the morning, you have to be on social media. There's a problem. If you sleep and you hear the notification note at 2 a.m. and you wake up to check what is going on, and that's what we were talking about, FOMO, you don't want to miss on anything, then there is a problem. So there's a very thin line to what they talked about, inspiration and motivation. And then going on the other side of obsession, where you would do anything to get money, to live a life that is fake, or you'd want to impress your friends so much. The younger generation, the 19, 18-year-olds, their brains are not even well developed. They're going to develop at 25. Therefore, once they go in, you find that they're so carried away. And that's why people are killing each other. They're even committing suicide themselves. They're having other personality disorders that they would not have gotten if they were not into social media. So you find there's a good side of social media, and then you have the bad side of social media. So we can't say it's all bad. Right now, a lot of children are learning using social media because of the COVID-19. Then we learn about awareness. We're having a lot of information. We are inspired by others. There are also social benefits. If you're not able to interact with your family who are far away, so that's a good thing. Job opportunities. A lot of young people have gotten job opportunities through the social media. But on the other side then, even though we are educating you using the same social media, we find that you have poor performance because you find you go through other things where you're supposed to be in your class, the Zoom class. Here you are watching pornography, which is in social media, watching, chatting with your friends, doing all those other things that we're not talking about, gambling. All these things are on social media. Then you find real relationships are ruined because you're so focused. I'm having dinner with you here, but I'm on my phone throughout. How am I having any relationship with you? Then at workplace, I'm not able to work because constantly I'm looking at my social media. What is happening? What is happening? And every time I look at it, I lose about an hour when I'm supposed to be working. Then I lack privacy, whereby privacy is very important. I've had colleagues of mine who are robbed when they showed them at the airport, I don't know, going where. So guys just saw it on social media. They knew there was nobody at home. And they came back home and did what they did. So your privacy is very important. So you're also exposed to crime. Because people would know where you are. I'm in this place and they know where you live. I'm going to go. Really going to have that other side, which nobody is really talking about. And the younger people are more affected. Even the 25s and below, up to 13-year-olds, than the older generation. And that's the reality that we're having.
Okay, and really unfortunate. But then again, let's speak to the social media users, these influencers, you know, the personalities, the public figures. And it has been seen over and over again, whether in the country or without, that there are those who are literally kept prisoners by their own fame. Yeah. You create a certain facade, and yet in real life, that's not the case. Yeah. So you live a lie. Talk about that.
Oh my goodness, where do I start? Because here's the thing, I recently had that experience where I met people that know me from social media and met me in real life in a supermarket with a mask on, just being myself. And they were like, oh, you're very different in person. And I go, yes. Because what you see, you know, you watch maybe 2 minutes of my life on my Instagram, but that's 2 minutes out of 24 hours, you know. So there's no way that I'm definitely that person that, you know, 24 hours that you see on social media. It's that thing that we said, we curate what we want you to see. And people don't want to believe that because I want to buy into the identity of who I see Gladys as being, you know, rather than going, okay, she's also a whole person. And I feel like that's what makes you sort of trapped by your fame or by your celebridom, because you also allow people to believe that you are this persona that you have created. So I feel like you need to also, as someone who, I wouldn't really consider myself a celebrity, but as somebody who's in the social space, I feel like one of the things that you have to just address it with people and go, hey, yes, yeah, that was awesome, but this is also me now, in flat shoes in the supermarket trying to buy spinach, you know. And I do admire the celebrities who show us their other side of their real life, you know. And it's that thing of, I think it was Susan who mentioned it earlier, you don't show people that you cleaned up before, you know, you took that photo and now everything's perfect. I really appreciate the ones who do turn the camera all the way and we just get to see that as well. And also when you own the fact that you are a celebrity, people do want to see how you live and decide how honest you want to be with that, with that picture, you know. Like when people meet you outside of the studio, you know, what kind of conversation do I have with you there?
Most of them would say, oh my God, you're smaller than you look on television. Yeah.
Do you get that quite often?
Oh yes, I get that a lot.
Okay. Well, that's also why I put on my tag, I say fat in real life. Because, you know, I'm not saying fat to be cool. I just am, you know, and hopefully you will see me do other things. So that's why I make a big deal of, I climbed a mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro for that matter, which is a big deal. You know, I am a plus size model, but I'm also, you know, struggling like the rest of you. You know, I have bills to pay. I'm trying to make a name for myself. And I feel like that is maybe my way of trying not to be imprisoned by whatever that image is. I don't want it. I'm not interested in it. But I also want you on my page, you know.
Okay, appreciate both people. Yes. Okay, and speaking of being real, you know, real with the raw emotions. Why?
Because I realize grief is something I think even as Africans, as a society, we really never talk about it. So people will assume, yeah, you lost your mom, yeah, you buried her, and life has moved on. But that's never the case. Life doesn't just move on. Life it will never be the same again, because there's a hole that my mother used to feel that no one else can feel. So I just decided I need to talk about, I think my social media space, I'm using it to talk about these things people never really talk about. So like grief. So I just decided, let me just pour out. Let me show people what I'm going through, how I'm feeling, what is going on. And it was so amazing for people to come to my DM and talk of a loss that happened 24 years ago that someone has never really walked through it. So I'm just talking because I know there are people not just losing someone physically, even separation, divorce, such things are the cycle and all.
And for you, Al, I mean, we see the pictures, you've tagged so-and-so styled me, you know, I'm looking good and all this, courtesy of so-and-so. Then there's day-to-day life where you have to get into your own wardrobe and go about business as usual. Kuna ile pressure ya looking a certain way all the time?
Hapo ndio saa watu wanafaa waelewe, at the end of the day, hii yetu ni kazi. So I'm very sure even you, Gladys, you don't come to work in your home clothes. Unajua lazima pia wewe mambo yako itengenezwe sawa. itakusumbua. And that's why I'm very deliberate on the process. Lazima niwaonyeshe what is my day like wakati nakuja kazi. So kuna watu wanani style na nini. Hii ni job. Sio mimi ati nimeamua tu nipige look ndio nitese kwa mtandao. It's work. I'm working. Yeah. So if you don't know that, utaanza kuona lakini Abeli anatusumbua hapa nje. But it's not the case. It comes with the nature of my job. Even ndio iko. That's why I'm saying, Maze, let's go heavy in see lifestyle. Si ati tumeboeka kwa nyumba tukaamua tu wacha twende tuchokoze vijana wa 19 years pia wapate pressure. Ni job, man.
I hear you on that. Now, Waire, Aziz, you're talking to us wearing the stunner. Literally, this is the alter ego that we know you as. When you're on stage, you look a certain way. Does Waire have those moments where the hat is off, shades are mna, you're just being you, Baba Nani, husband to Madame? Do you put that out there in your private life at least?
Yeah, at least when I'm off camera and I'm in my house, in the confines of my house, you get to see the other side of me. But now the whole of Kenya is watching me. This is what they're used to, and that's what they're going to see.
My question is,
so
would you be shy removing your stunners and the cup and saying, this is Kevin Wairegi, a.k.a. Waire, the love child?
They would never come off in front of a camera.
Okay, and that is intentional.
It's very intentional because this is what I put out there. This is what I sell. Mm-hmm. This is for the public. The other side now, Kevin, is for my private life.
I hear you. And now, this is one thing that everyone has put out there. They're very intentional as to what it is they put out there, and they own it. So what you see is actually what you get, but they have another life behind the scenes. Now, we're just about to take another short break here on Your World. Do we have any more feedback for this hour? Well, we'll come back with more of it right after this. Stay with us.
Wanasherehekea miaka 20 na wewe. Piga star 444 star 20. Tumia shilingi 20 pekee utunukiwe 20 minutes na 20 MP.
Epuka giza sasa na mshumaa wa Sumo. Mshumaa wa Sumo umetengenezwa kwa bidhaa bora zaidi na unakufaa wakati wote. Kila mara unapowaza kuhusu mwangaza katika nyumba yako, waza mshumaa wa Sumo. Unachomeka polepole bila kumwagika na hauishi haraka, hauna moshi wala harufu. Jipatie mshumaa wa Sumo katika duka lililo karibu nawe kwa bei nafuu. Kwa maelezo zaidi, tembelea afisi zetu katika barabara ya Ndume Road, mkabala na Lungalunga Road, nyuma ya Carton Manufacturer, karibu na stage ya matatu ya Sinai. Unaweza pia wasiliana nasi kupitia 0722575619 au 0736028181. Ni mshumaa wa Sumo Kando kutoka Rock Industries Limited.
Collect your invoice from our cash office at Times Tower Banking Hall or City Hall and Makadara offices and pay each day only through the Nairobi County Revenue Collection account at Cooperative Bank of Kenya. You stand to gain 100% from the 100% waiver extension. At the end of the waiver period, KRA will institute enforcement measures.
Program serikali ikaleta hizi redio na sola zitusaidie kuniwezesha kuendelea kusoma hata kama ni usiku. But kasi wings to fly singeweza kufika hapa hata penye nipo.
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate. 1, wake up, wake up. 2, brush up, brush up. 3, pop through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Pop through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate and give yourself a future to smile about.
Every spoonful of Nutri comes loaded with the necessary vitamins, protein and minerals for you and your family to become healthier and stronger. Pick up a pack today from your nearest store. Nutri, every spoonful counts.
Thank you for staying with Your World. My name is Gladys Gachanja. The conversation this morning, the facade that is social media, really having a candid conversation here with everybody. And Shaz, I'll start off with you. We touched on the fact that there is an upside to social media. Yes. I mean, we are looking at the downside, but there's an upside to it. Yes. You know, it can build your business, it can build your brand, it can give you opportunities. Talk about your experience.
I think one of the reasons I'm grateful that I decided to get on social media is because I realized that there was another world that was opened up to me. You know, I tried to put my inspirational posts and just share my life and do my comedy and all of that. And then I found that I would be invited maybe to be like an MC for an event or something like that. So there is a tangible change. You know, I can pay my rent. I can fuel my car. It's earning me a living to be on social media. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm hesitant to bag it all together, to, you know, sort of only talk about the negatives of social media, because I feel personally I've had a very positive and I'd say beneficial experience having been on social media. It's been fantastic. Mm-hmm. But also on a personal level, I feel like it's helped me do something that I think is one of my mandates, which is to put a different face on who is allowed to be on social media, who is allowed to be on this couch with you right now, you know, and by putting myself out there, it has given me the opportunity to have this experience. You know, I think, can I just touch on this a little bit? Is that there's a particular look that we are told is beautiful. There's a particular way of being that we are told is acceptable. And I feel in some way I'd like to disrupt that as well. And I think that has been quite beneficial to just also change the spin on the conversation. You know, that there is more than one narrative. You know, and I feel like I'm here to do that as well. I'm here to shake it up a little bit and earn a living while I'm doing it happily.
Okay. And when you talk about shaking it up, what are the changes you intend to see? Where do you see the gaps?
Oh, the gaps are many, and I think they need a fat girl to fill them in, and I think I can do it very well. Which camera do I need to look at so that they can hear me? But no, seriously, I feel, you know, I think sometimes you switch on the TV and you only see one particular look. It's the thing that I was mentioning to you earlier. Only one particular kind of like skin tone or body size, all of that. And it's actually one of the things that, so like I ask, do we not have any plus size newscasters and anchors and people who you put on adverts. You know, I have been asked to do a couple of adverts, and I feel very typecast in it. You know, they want the mama, the happy, the but I'm like, no. This package can also be beautiful, can also be the leading lady, can also be the person who's front and center in a music video, which I have done. Thank you very much. But really, you know, I feel like let's shake this thing up, you know, and represent all packages that we come in. So I think it's, for me, it's one of those, it became, I didn't know it was an intention, but it's something that came to me as I started doing more and more, and realized that I would either be typecast or that people had a problem with seeing someone like me willingly putting themselves front and center. And so that has become more of an ambition for me.
And what is the end goal? What's the importance of that?
I think from a beauty point of view, because I do a lot of like plus size modeling, and I do a lot of that's in the beauty aesthetic. I feel like I want to challenge, and I do think that I challenge what the stereotype is for beautiful. There's a beautiful quote by this lady who says, "You are not alive to please the aesthetic of the colonized eye." And by that, I see what are the beauty standards that are seen through the lens of the colonized eye. Do I have to be a certain size to be considered as beautiful? Do I have to be a certain kind of skin tone? Do I have a certain kind of hair? And as that is, I guess, more publicized, I want to see more people like me and not like me being put front and center. You know, that for me is number one. I couldn't say it enough. And if you don't stop me, I will never stop.
Okay, I hear you. Let me stop you at that point. Shiko, what has been the upside for you with social media business opportunities?
Okay, so for me, number one has been the PCOS Foundation. I've managed to reach at least now 300 women who we talk on a daily. We are on Telegram and WhatsApp, and we all met on social media, on Instagram or Facebook. So that has brought a neat community we call ourselves Sisterhood, CYSTER, Sisterhood. So it has brought a very nice community of such women just bouncing off each other, encouraging each other, being a shoulder for each other. That has been the biggest highlight for me on social media. Also, yes, it has come with some business, which I never thought I'd get myself there, but it has brought some influencer businesses that I've done, which are exciting because I have a marketing background. So it's also very exciting to engage on this side of being an influencer for a brand. Yeah.
Okay. And for you, when you think about what you started with, where you're at and where you're going, are they aligning, or have you gone changing along the way to fit the need?
There's been some changes as I've gone, because of course you will put out this information and see, oh, people haven't reached there, I need to go back and start from here to get there. So I have had to tweak a few things here and there, but so far so good. I'm loving the journey. I'm enjoying the conversations that are coming off what I'm putting out. So I'm excited.
Excellent. And for you, Abel, definitely you said you flung yourself into this space in the beginning of this year, but you've been at it for a while. What have been the upsides to this journey?
Upsides for me is the business.
Okay, yeah.
And also I've managed now to bring in, especially after the COVID pandemic and all, to just try and build up small businesses, try and build them up and make them get known. So I'm not really going for the big dogs. I'm going for the small people who need a lot of highlighting for them to get known. So I'm working a lot with small businesses and I'm enjoying it as well.
Excellent. So Abel, what is your experience?
So when I started my YouTube channel, to be really honest, it was just a pastime. COVID had struck. We were told, you guys operate in huge numbers. You can't be on set together. Go home. Let's wait this thing out. So in my mind, I knew we'd be home for like 2-3 weeks tops. Shock on me. Yeah. We were home for like 6 months. So 1 month into the lockdown, my wife and I decided, you know what, these stories that you keep telling us here in the house, so you just go do them outside hapo. Tuone watu watasema nini. So when I started, I was doing it, as a pastime. Until I started receiving messages from people telling me, not once, not twice, not 3 times, people telling me, bro, I was on the verge of suicide. Your stories brought me back.
Wow.
That's when I realized that there's a bigger thing to what I'm doing. And I needed to focus on it. So now, in fact, I'm on a break right now, and I feel like I'm doing my Wakurugenzis a lot of disservice because I know genuinely a good number of people who thrived on those stories. Yeah, so for me, it's a curing tool. I'm almost doing Daktari's job now.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah.
And Abel, there's somebody who is asking you, you're married, have a daughter, but you're also very intentional about how you place them in this journey you're in. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's true, man, because out here, there are funny people, especially when it comes to my daughter. I'd want her to make that decision herself. That's why I do not post her as much, because they're crooked people out here. The other day I posted something, I think it was a picture, and an idiot just comes to the comments there and tells me, "Niaje bro, nikupige bia mbili unipatie umresh." I'm like, yo, she's 10. You what? Really?
Wow.
So those things, because those people are there. And now she's at that age where whatever she reads is the gospel truth.
Mm-hmm.
So it only takes a few idiots to break that girl completely. Completely. That's why I'm like, okay, this thing, I know she has an interest, but watch out. When she's old enough, then she can do it herself. That's the reason why I try to keep her off. Yeah.
And do you counsel her? Because at the end of the day, unaweza mficha simu lakini huku nje akona access.
Correct. And I tell her there's a lot of weird guys online, man. There are people who make you want to die. So be very careful who you're interacting with, because, yeah, you're right. I can confiscate her phone, but you don't know who she's interacting with out there. Yeah. So it's always good to have that talk with her. Just let her know that it's not as wonderful as, because she thinks, she had this idea that online is just a world of beautiful people. Because, every time you meet someone face to face, they're good to babies, they're good to kids. But she doesn't know that when they're behind a keyboard, they lose that, as in someone can just tell you anything. Yeah, so I'm very deliberate. I tell her, yo, be very careful with this thing. And that's the reason why I do not, let you go on there. There's a time she snuck onto my phone and posted a video. Okay, but well, let's just say she learned the hard way.
And you being old school, I can imagine vile kulienda. But let me go back to Shiko briefly on this one. Shiko, you have 2 children who are seeing both their parents are out there in the social media doing their thing. Are you intentional on mentoring them on this journey?
Very, very intentional. So, like my daughter now, she kind of understands this whole social media thing. So you will catch her checking what you're doing. Like if you're posting a product review, she'll imitate you afterwards. So you can tell she's picking up what you're doing. And she'll start talking about her dolls like she's talking to other people. So you can just tell, yeah, there's something she's picking up. So we plan to be very, very intentional, even in handing over the social media platforms we've created for them, so that they learn from us, for us to be their point of contact when it comes to social media, so that we walk the journey together.
And for you, Waire, you're also a family man. Are you intentional on how you're bringing up the children?
I'm very intentional. Well, my son is not on social media yet. I'll let him join when I feel he is old enough to make his own decisions. I'm a firm believer in protecting my child. You know what I mean? Some people have, for them it's a personal decision. As soon as the child is born, there's an account created for them.
Yeah.
Which is, people are different, but it's not exactly my style. Like my whole job is in front of cameras and on stage. So I can take the heat when I wake up and see a nasty comment about me. But you don't want to see that somebody has woken up and started abusing your child. You know, it's not the best thing you want to wake up to. So personally, I'd rather he keeps off until he's at an age where he can make certain decisions. I'll wait for that time.
Okay, and it's been said over and over again, this social media space for most people, it's an office. It's how you eke a living. When your son starts to ask, if he hasn't already, about, oh, I saw this video, people are saying this about you, Dad, in this video, how do you deal with that?
Well, if it's one thing I've learned in this industry, is to grow a thick skin. Definitely let him know that you can please everybody out there. Everybody has their tastes and their preferences. You need to grow a thick skin, and I'll definitely let him know about that. You can please everyone. Learn to work within your target market as well, and try and see how to potentially you can grow it as well. But you should learn also not to take things personally online. There are people who wait on standby for any post that you've done to click the dislike button or talk something nasty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you get to see those patterns and learn how to handle it, and not to take things too personally as well. Because if you do, it could definitely affect you in a very wrong way. You know what I mean? And you start asking questions about yourself. Am I really working in this industry and stuff like that?
Okay.
If you've got such an issue with anyone online, there's always a block button, or it's your page. You can delete comments. You know what I mean? So never take things too personally.
We hear you, Were. And today on Your Voice, our reporter Brian Mushiri had a conversation with two of his peers, Latifa Kianja, who is a digital strategist, and Manolo, a gospel artist. They had a candid conversation on the use and impact of social media from a young person's perspective, and how the same group is taking things on social media too seriously. Take a look.
This is Your Voice, and my name is Brian Mushiri. Today, we shall have a conversation about the facade that is social media and why it's leading young people into depression, among other ills. I'm joined by Latifa Kianja, who's a student at USIU Africa and a digital strategist as well. I'm also joined by Manolo, who is a gospel artist, and he's using every forum, especially social media, to sanitize and sensitize young people on the use of online social platforms. Guys, karibuni sana. And maybe nezanza nawe Latifa. What is happening with young people on social media? We're seeing things of the craziest form. Nini shida?
Let me start with peer pressure. Yeah. I think pressure has become too much these days. You don't know. Let me even just say, yesterday I was talking to a friend of mine.
Yes.
And we were just saying how social media is so different. IG in 2013 is not IG 2020. It's when you want to go and check on what your friends are doing, it's not the same then and now. So I'm going to go and look at what Manolo is doing, and then I see someone has done A, B, C, D, and I'm like, shoot, why am I not like these people?
You also want to get yourself there.
So you want to get yourself there regardless of how you're going to get there. And you don't, at some point you don't care. It's like for you, it's just, it is what it is. Let me do what I want to do. Yeah.
Manolo, how bad is it? Situation iko mbaya aje in terms of social media and the pressure that we are getting ourselves into?
Situation ni mbaya. As in, at this point, I'm like, where are we going from now? Social media is great. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, imesaidia sana. But then it also has its dark side. And, there are a lot of things that they bring up. So ni kubaya.
Na niwaulize, when you guys talk about social media and peer pressure, what can I do and what can't I do? Hiyo imekuwa force na social media and the pressure. For instance, nimeingia kwa hoteli. Nimeitisha kahawa na akuki. Ifu ditamu na ionekana kila siku na lazima mrecognize niko na kakitu nimelipwa. Am I allowed to post this stuff? So am I ni peer pressure?
I mean, you're doing you. If you want to post, you post. Your social media is your social media, and no one is supposed to come and tell you what to do with it. So if I go to a restaurant, we're having chicken and fries and steak, and I've never had this thing, but for me, I want to post it. I mean, sure, why not? But what is your motive for posting?
Motive ni watu wasikie vibaya, watu wa recognize nimekula place poa.
Well, unajua social media, if we look at it like the usage of social media is just for very few things. Number one being to create a brand. So you want people to know how Brian is, who he is, what he likes, what he doesn't like, what he associates himself with. And then number two is to create memories, you see. So for a brand, kama mtu anataka ku create brand, imsaidie, you know, you monetize the brand, you create a brand where you have an audience, then that's business, right? But for creating memories now, ni wale users wenye akiwana likes tao na akiwana likes chwani ajali.
Does anyone have a nice reason to celebrate 100,000 followers on Instagram or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, if Instagram is a marketing platform as well, so if from your 100,000 people you're getting conversions into people who are buying your product, you have a reason to celebrate.
To add on what he's saying, I think, and let me use influencers.
Yes.
If I have 5,000 followers today, I wake up tomorrow, I have 50,000, and I can see a brand like NTV wants to come and use me to advertise for their products. You see, as opposed to getting through to 5K people, I'm getting through to 15,000. That means more money for me. So if you're looking at it from the business perspective, then I might as well just celebrate for those 15,000 people that I'm getting.
The bad thing is that msanii akiget 1 million views na mwingine aget lesser, unaanza kufeel kama your music is not there.
It's not
so well, yeah.
There are people who are out here perhaps posting videos of them half naked, if we can. Kuna hiyo, number one. Kuna watu wanajaribu kuonyeshana wako na pesa. Kuna watu wanajaribu kuonyeshana, you know what, I just got this new perhaps car that I need you guys to all recognize. I had this new trip to Mombasa or whatever. I need you guys to realize. I want you people to make me feel good.
Ni reality. Everyone needs just to, if you're there and your social media imekushika you need to be real with yourself, because there are places where kuva half naked, it's summer, it's feasible. Kwao ni poa, it's culture. Kwao si shocking. But there are places kama huku kwetu, some places huwezi kuwa uko half naked.
Nairobi.
You can't. Huwezi tembea half naked. Unaona? But sasa social media ina cut off hizo boundaries za you know, regional boundaries. Unaweza kuwa hapa na watch video ya US sahi. Unaona? And then there are places as well where kukuwa na do at 22 is very feasible. Umse alianza kuwork jobs akiwa 16, maybe alikuwa na huge financial backing from the parents. That works. But hapa Nairobi, manze 23 ndio namaliza kampo, hata ndio kukatikati. So it makes sense. Uko tupale klabu, chapo smoky, Rolex, and your life, unaona? So, but then that's the problem. Social media inaleta hii comparison yenye ni unrealistic, unaona? That Latifa here ama mimi nitajicompare na mtu wa the same age probably, but ako in a totally different environment.
To the guys out there at home, usikubali kupigwa pressure. It's not necessary. This is it, guys. Wallahi, usikubali kupata pressure because of what you see on social media. Constantly, you'll find guys who are telling you, let's do this, let's not do that, but just stick to your lane. It's never that serious, and pole tu, consistently tu, utakuja kuwa mbigi na wende utakuwa unaambia watu. My name is Brian Mushiri. Cheers.
Coming from a group of young people, thumbs up. And I think you should take that to heart and really rethink about how you consume social media. And speaking of which, we had posed a question of the day to you as to what experiences you've had on social media and how you handled them. If we can have that up. Kim Ngot Brian says, this fine morning I posted my photo on WhatsApp and my crush told me, you're handsome. Well, the whole sentence was, you are handsomely annoying, but I only focus on the positive. Brian, we hear you. Maseti Morogoro says, my eyes are aching all because I'm staring too much on my phone. My sleeping has been cut short because I sleep late and wake up early just to keep in touch online. And this is actually a syndrome, as Susan will be talking about. Flock Mutindi says, truth, my eyes are paying the price of social media. I'm glad people are being honest about this. Jones Moneki says, my account being hacked and my friends calling me to pull down some images. The experience was unbearable. We hear you, Moneki. Bing Shirley says, remember it's your handle. Don't be shy to delete negative vibes or block negative people. Alternatively, disable the comment function. True, you have a choice as to how you manage your page. And a last one here from Masai Gal, who says, that's why the proverbial saying, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen applies. If you can't stand criticism, then don't share your comments on social media, because it's like a jungle. We hear you, Masai Gal, with all the keyboard warriors. And I'll add one more here from Hamilton, who says, rule of thumb, understand that like and appreciation from yourself is necessary. Like and appreciation from others is forthcoming or not, is just an extra, not really a necessity. I think that's a good one to actually take home. And even as we bring this conversation to an end, Shaz, we've talked all about social media, the influence of the same, both as a consumer and the person putting out content. What's your parting shot?
I think maybe the thing that I've learned for myself, which was if you don't define yourself for yourself, you will be crushed into other people's fantasies of you and eaten alive. And that's just the thing that you need to remind yourself as you put things out on social media, so that whatever feedback you get, whether it's great or not so great, it doesn't become the thing that defines you. And that's a lot of internal work. And I think that's where the value of that is, because you cannot control the animal that is social media, but you can control how you deal with it and what you're about.
Very well said. Shiko? Shiko, are you still with us? Yes.
Yes, yeah. So I'd say just remember everything has a behind the scenes. Everyone has a behind the scenes. Even today in the morning when you woke up, you showered, combed your hair, got out of the house. That's your behind the scene. Everyone has that thing that we all don't see. So let's not take what we see on social media so seriously. Someone bought a car and you want now to kill yourself, get a loan and buy the car. You don't know where they got their money. You don't know whether they were given as a gift. You have no idea. So everything has a behind the scenes. So let's take everything on social media with a pinch of salt.
Aha. Abel Motua, Mkurugenzi, what do you have to say?
I can only tell guys to always remember that value transacts with value. So for someone to place value on you, you need to be to give them value as well. So wachana na story ya glory sana. Focus on the story, because now that's where you make your value. Focus on the story, the glory will come. Hiyo itakuja, isikunyime usingizi, it will come. You work on your story.
I totally agree with that message and endorse it. Over to you, Waire.
I would say just don't be a slave. Don't be a slave to a life that's not yours, man. Otherwise, you're going to be really frustrated all through life, man. Just be yourself. Offer the world what you can, and don't oversell, and to be able to and not be able to sustain the life that you're selling out there.
Very true, and we celebrate you, Waire. And Susan, we've had different conversations on this forum, and definitely even the feedback tells you a lot about the impact of social media. Your parting words of advice?
Recognize the problem. Second, audit your media content or diet. Create a better online experience. And most importantly, model good behavior.
Okay, very well said. And to the T. Thank you so much, Susan Gitau. She's a counseling psychologist and also an international certified addiction professional. We are also joined by Sharon Derito, aka Shaz, comedian and entertainer, and Kamau, aka Shiko Asoksi, who is a PCOS ambassador and content creator. Abel Mutua, creative director, as you've had the many other things that he does. And Kevin Waire, aka Waire the Love Child, who is a veteran musician. Thank you all for joining us on this critical conversation, and I believe this conversation will continue beyond this forum. Well, tomorrow we shall hook up and our conversation will be focused on postpartum health and fitness. Yes, just a couple of weeks ago we focused on a pregnancy and all that, and what you need to eat, what you need to do in terms of keeping fitness. And you said we really need to talk about after the baby checks in. What do we do? And that's what we'll be focusing on even as we engage a fitness trainer and a nutritionist. See you then.